Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is June 23rd. Jacob Misiorowski might be the real deal. Raleigh continues his historic season and more. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? The weekend has come and gone. We are in the last week, essentially, for June. We are here, the All-Star game fast approaching, and baseball season is, we stand alone. NBA Finals wrapped up yesterday. It is just baseball, the only sport that is the big ones that you're trying to watch right now, and some of the best baseball comes at the All-Star break and afterwards. So with that being said, let's get into our series recap. Leading things off, we've got the Orioles and the Yankees. Aaron Judge hits his 27th home run of the season, but Ramon Urias hits a go-ahead homer in the 8th inning. That's the difference. Orioles take a 5-3 victory. Yankees come back. Trent Grisham, J.C. Escara, Ben Rice, Anthony Volpe, all of which go deep in this one. The O's can only get one hit in the game. 9-0 Yankees that one. And in the rubber match, Jazz, a 2-run go-ahead double in the 8th. That's the difference in the game. And in the series, the Yankees win it 4-2 and take 2 of 3 from Baltimore. Tigers and Rays now. Yandy Diaz leadoff home run for Tampa got the party started. They picked up 2 4-run innings for the Rays, 8 RBIs from the 7, 8, 9 hitters. It's a 14-8 victory for the Rays. They come back in Game 2 with Danny Jansen, Junior Caminero, and Christopher Morel all going deep, 8-3 Tampa. But in the last game, the Tigers get some revenge. Wenzel Perez, Parker Meadows, they hit homers, and the Tigers score 6 runs in the 9th to put this one out of reach. 9-3 the final there. Tigers avoid the sweep, but Tampa Bay takes 2 of 3 from the top team in the AL. White Sox and Blue Jays now. Andrew Benintendi, Luis Robert Jr. both going deep. It's a 7-1 White Sox win, but the Blue Jays come back in Game 2. Bo, a leadoff homer on the first pitch. He began a few of those recency. Vladdy goes deep as well. 7-1 Blue Jays. They return the favor. And for the rubber match, Miguel Vargas, the go-ahead 2-run double in the 8th is the difference. The White Sox win it 4-2. They take 2 of 3 from the Blue Jays. Brewers and Twins now. 14 runs were scored in the last 3 innings for the Brewers. They really added on. Yelich went 4 for 6 with 8 RBIs, all without the long ball. The Brewers destroy 17-6 your final. They save some of that for the next game because they come back with a 9-0 victory. It's all Brewers in this series, and in the final game, Byron Buxton, he would have a 2-homer game. Unfortunately, both were solo shots as Reed Hoskins and Bryce Terang homer for the Brewers. They take a 9-8 victory. Milwaukee sweeps the Twins. Guardians and A's now. Nick Kurtz, a 2-run homer in the first, set the tone, and it led the A's to a 5-1 victory. But Cleveland comes back in the next 2 games. They score 4 runs in the second inning to secure a 4-2 victory, and then take the series with a 3-0 win as Cleveland takes 2 of 3 from the A's. Astros and Angels now. Jeremy Pena and Isaac Paredes lead off the game with back-to-back homers. Joe Adell would go deep later on, and how about Christian Moore getting his first career MLB home run to tie the game up? We head into extras with the Astros score on a wild pitch. The Angels do not score. 3-2 Astros, the final in 10. In Game 2, Luis Rengifo goes deep. And how about Logan O'Hoppe, the catcher, a 2-homer game. 9-1 Angels as they even up the series. And in that final game, it was a home run day for sure. Logan O'Hoppe, Nolan Shanuel, Zach Neto all going deep for the Halos. Mauricio Dubon, a 2-homer game, as well as Jeremy Pena for the Astros. They take an 8-7 victory. The Astros take 2 of 3 from the Angels. Braves and Marlins now. Augustine Ramirez hits a 3-run homer in the third, his 11th of the year. That's the difference here as the Marlins take a 6-2 victory. In Game 2, it's the Braves who strike Drake Baldwin. A 3-run home run puts this game out of reach as the Braves even up this series with a 7-0 victory. And in the rubber match, it's Kyle Stowers with a home run to help the Marlins beat the Braves and take the series 5-3, the final, taking 2 of 3 from Atlanta. Mets and Phillies, they're tied at the top for the NL East. The winner of this series would have the lead. Alonso and McNeil hit back-to-back home runs to tie this game up at 2. But don't worry, the Phillies brought down the hammer. They score 8 unanswered. After that, Castellanos goes deep. It's a 10-2 Phillies lead. In the second game, Lindor, Nimmo, and Soto go back-to-back in the third. Nimmo would have a 2-homer game. Soto would have a 2-homer game. Jared Young and Francisco Alvarez both go deep. It's plenty of Mets home runs to an 11-4 Mets victory to even up the series and stay tied in the NL East. That final game was all Phillies. Schwarber goes deep. Sosa goes deep. Luzardo was great. It's a 7-1 Phillies victory. They take 2 of 3 from the Mets and are right now atop the NL East. Reds and Cardinals now. The Cardinals break it open by scoring 5 runs in the 7th to a 6-1 victory. In Game 2, Ellie De La Cruz goes deep for the Reds. Alec Burleson goes deep for the Cardinals. Reds up 1 in the 9th. Nolan Arenado, solo shot home run, ties the game up. We go to extras, and in the 11th, it's Yoel Pozo with the walk-off single for the Cardinals. They earned this victory, 6-5 the final. They would look for the sweep but could not find it. Matt McClain goes deep for the Reds. It's a 4-1 victory for Cincinnati, who avoid this sweep and take one against the Cardinals. Mariners and Cubs. Cal Raleigh, 2-homer game. Mitch Garver, 2-homer game. It was all Seattle this one. Ian Happ and McGuire both went deep for the Cubs. Too little, too late. 9-4 Mariners, the final in this one. In Game 2, Ian Happ and Kyle Tucker lead off the game with back-to-back home runs. Ian Happ would have a 2-homer game. Michael Busch would go deep, as well as Pete Crow Armstrong. Plenty of homers for the Cubs. But it's the 3rd homer of the series for the big dumper. Cal Raleigh hits his 30th of the year already. 10-7 Cubs, though. They win that game, and in the final game, Cal Raleigh hits his 3rd straight game with the home run, his 4th homer of the series. Dominic Canzone, a 2-homer game. Donovan Solano, a 2-homer game for the Mariners. It was incredible. The Cubs did have some home run power as well. Seiya Suzuki, a 2-homer game. Kyle Tucker and Reese McGuire also homering for the Cubs. But in the end, the Mariners win this one 14-6 and take 2 of 3 in the series, thanks to Cal Raleigh. Rangers and Pirates now. Adolis Garcia and Corey Seager both homer for Texas. It's a 6-2 victory there. They come back in Game 2 with a 3-2 victory. The Rangers would look for the sweep but would not find it, thanks to Spencer Horwitz, Ke'Bryan Hayes, and Tommy Pham, who together near the bottom of the lineup combined for 7 RBIs. It's an 8-3 Pirates win. Texas, though, takes 2 of 3 in the series. Nationals and Dodgers. Ahmed Rosario, Riley Adams, CJ Abrams all homering for the Nats. It's not enough. The Dodgers are too good. Miggy Rojas goes deep, and the Dodgers take a 6-5 victory in the opener. In Game 2, it's James Wood, it's Luis Garcia Jr., it's Nathaniel Lau, who had a 2-homer game, and CJ Abrams once again. 5 homers for the Nats lead them to a 7-3 victory to even up the series. But in that rubber match, Max Muncy's game. It's a 2-homer game for Muncy, a grand slam, a 3-run home run, and oh, by the way, Shohei also homers in this one. 13-7 Dodgers, the final. They take 2 of 3 from the Nationals. We look now to D-backs and Rockies. Ketel Marte, Ildemaro Vargas, they both homer, and for Eugenio Suarez, it's a 2-homer game. His career 299th and 300th home runs, a big milestone for Suarez as the D-backs take a 14-8 victory. In Game 2, Suarez goes deep once again for his 301st career home run, as well as Perdomo. The D-backs take a 5-3 victory, looking for the sweep on Sunday, but can't find it as Mickey Moniak hits a go-ahead 3-run home run in the 5th. That's the difference for the Rockies, who avoided the sweep with a 4-2 victory. D-backs, though, take 2 of 3. Royals and Padres now. Bobby Witt Jr., Jonathan India both going deep as Kansas City takes the opener in this one 6-5. But in Game 2, Tatis hits his 14th homer of this season to bring in some important runs to help the Padres take a 5-1 victory. And in the rubber match Game 3, Jose Iglesias would get all 3 RBIs in this game despite not starting this game. He would get 2-run single to tie up the game and then walk it off in the 9th with a single to win it for the Padres. 3-2 the final there. San Diego takes 2 of 3 from the Royals. And then grab your popcorn, folks. It's the Red Sox. It's the Giants. Devers' first time facing the Red Sox in Game 1. David Hamilton and Cedena Rafaela both go deep as the Red Sox own Devers. He goes 0 for 5 with a strikeout in his first game versus the Red Sox, who get the edge in this series. 7-5 your final there. In Game 2, Heliot Ramos goes deep, and so does Rafael Devers, who hits his first home run as a Giant and his first home run against the Red Sox in his career. The Giants take a 3-2 victory thanks to Devers. And in the rubber match, Casey Schmidt, Mike Yastrzemski, Willie Adames, all homer for the Giants. They got your back, Devers. 9-5 Giants the final as San Francisco takes 2 of 3 from the Red Sox, and that's your series recap. All right, now your game of the weekend. We're taking you to LA for the Astros and the Angels. The scoring gets started in the bottom of the 4th. Logan O'Hoppe hits his 17th homer of the season. A 2-run shot puts the Angels up 2. Top of the 5th, Mauricio Dubon, his 4th homer of this season. 2-1 Astros there. It's a solo shot there. And later on, it's Jeremy Pena who hits his 11th home run of the season. Another solo shot that ties the game up at 2. And later in this inning as well, Cam Smith would reach on an error that allows Jake Myers to score 3-2 Astros. And then Walker doubles down the Cam Smith would score. 4-2 Houston. They score 4 runs in the 5th to take the lead. Bottom of the 5th, Nolan Schanuel hits his 6th home run of the season. A 3-run shot that makes it 4-2 to 5-4. Angels, they take the lead right back. In the top of the 6th, the Astros score another 4 runs. Mauricio Dubon hits his 2nd homer of the day, 5th of the season, a 2-run shot to put the Astros up 1. Jeremy Pena delivers an RBI double, and then Jake Myers a sac fly. So we enter the inning with the Astros down 4. We exit them up 3. Houston 8, LA 5. Bottom of the 7th, Schanuel would single, and that would score Kevin Newman as it is 8-6 Halos. Bottom of the 9th, the Angels ask for Zach Neto to lead off the inning with a pinch hit, and he goes deep, his 11th homer of the season. Puts it as a 1-run game, but the Angels cannot get another run off of Hader. As he locks down the save, the Astros take this one and the series 8-7 your final. That, ladies and gentlemen, was your game of the weekend. Let's get into the baseball news, and I'm taking you straight to Seattle. We got to talk about Cal Raleigh, man. What this guy is doing is just outstanding. He has 31 homers on the season. He's on pace currently for 66 home runs, the most by a catcher in a single season ever, primary catcher. Was Salvador Perez. This was a few years ago, back in 2021. He was 48. He had 48 homers. What a season that was, and what a season Cal Raleigh is having. He is the first switch hitter ever and the first catcher ever to have 30 home runs before the All-Star break. And if you're like, oh, like that's, it's impressive, blah, blah, blah. The All-Star break, he still has 20 games. That's kind of just like, hey, by the way, crazy. The record for the most homers before an All-Star break was 39. That was by Barry Bonds in 2001. That was the season where he hit 73 home runs in that season. Of course, that is the MLB record currently. Cal Raleigh has 20 games to go. He's at 31 home runs. He's 8 homers away to tie Barry Bonds in 2001. 8 homers in 20 games. He just hit 4 home runs in 3 games. This is definitely on the table for Cal to reach 40 home runs before the All-Star break? That would be crazy. Mark McGwire at the time, in 1998, where McGwire and Sosa went band for band, that epic toe-to-toe home run battle, when they were in the All-Star break, McGwire had 33, Sosa had 30. So he's already past Sosa. He's 2 away from tying McGwire, who finished with 70 that year. If you look at the Mariners' history, the most homers before an All-Star break in Mariners history with 29, Ken Griffey Jr. in 1999. With 30 home runs, Ken Griffey Jr. with 1997. Then you have Cal Raleigh now, 31 in 2025. Then 33 home runs from Ken Griffey in 1994, and then 35 from Ken Griffey in 1998. So Cal Raleigh is 4 homers away from tying Ken Griffey's 1998 record, and he's 5 homers away from breaking that and becoming, in Mariners history, the most homers before an All-Star break. What Raleigh's done the first half of this season is incredible, and he has 20 games to keep adding on and keep, making this historic thing happen. If he starts his second season, if the second half of the season, if he starts it the same way he's, ending this one and the way he's been playing in this first half, I think Cal Raleigh could have a chance at easily 60, 70? What's the number here? Because Cal Raleigh hits them in bunches, man. We talked about he's had series where he hits 3, 4 homers. He has 5 or 6 multi-homer games. He is that guy. You look at his percentile rankings in 2025. He's 100th percentile in batting run value. He's 98th percentile in barrel percentage. Expected slugging, 97th percentile. He has been fantastic. In 2023, Cal Raleigh had 119 hits, had a 232 batting average, a 762 OPS, nothing crazy. He had 30 home runs that year. 2 years ago, Raleigh had 30 home runs that year. He's at 31 already, and we're not even at the All-Star break. His OPS is up 300 points from 762 that year to 1.042. Last year, he hit 34 home runs. He is 3 away from matching that number. That's the crazy stuff when you really think about Cal Raleigh's season. It's most most home runs before the break by a switch hitter, by a catcher. That's crazy. You look at his home run numbers. Last year, in 2024, he had a career-high 34 home runs. He finished 12th in MVP voting and won the Gold Glove, which was also the Platinum Glove winner. He's 3 homers away from tying his personal best in home runs, and in 2024, he had 628 plate appearances. So far, he has 329. That's 300 less plate appearances, and he's 3 homers away. What Cal has done is incredible, and if he keeps the pace up, not only will he be one of the best catchers in MLB history, what kind of records might he set? He should win the MVP at this rate. This is the MVP Cal Raleigh season right now, 2025. Remember it, because wow, what Cal Raleigh's doing is simply incredible. Hopefully he can keep it up, because that is where the really exciting stuff in the season comes from. But 3 away, what are we talking about? Anyways, that's the Cal Raleigh stuff. Let's meet Jacob Misiorowski. I mentioned him a little bit in his first start because he threw 5 no-hit innings. It was incredible. He pitched this weekend, and let me tell you, after 2 starts, this guy might be the next real deal here, because he had started his career with 11 hitless innings. 11 hitless innings. He is in the 99th percentile for the fastball velo and the 100th percentile for his extension. And I've seen this guy pitch before in AAA. I have, what he's done in 2 starts alone is incredible. 11 innings, 11 strikeouts, 1.64 ERA. He only gave up 1 home run. That was, his most recent start against the Twins here. But still, what he's done has been incredible. He's got, 19 plate appearances with his fastball that he's used, 5 strikeouts there, 2 strikeouts with his slider, 2 strikeouts with his curveball, 2 strikeouts with his changeup. His stuff is just absolute filth. The way he's been mixing his pitches, I mean, I think it was really Castro. He made him look like a fool in that at-bat, and that's what Jacob Misiorowski's been doing. And I think this guy's going to have an amazing career. I think we're looking at the next, Jacob deGrom-esque player. And it's funny that they have the same name of Jacob, but, he really is that stuff. His fastball is electric. His slider goes, 95 miles an hour. That is a fastball for plenty of pitchers. That's his slider. I mean, this guy, I think it's the Brewers equivalent in the NL Central as the Pirates' Paul Skenes. And it's funny that I make that comparison because they're pitching this Wednesday. Pirates versus Brewers, Skenes versus Misiorowski, and that will be a very telling game, I think, for the projection of both those pitchers and both those players, because here you have, Misiorowski, obviously smaller sample size, only 2 starts, but he's 2-0. When he pitches, the Brewers are winning his games. Paul Skenes, on the other hand, he's been electric. He has a 1.85 ERA. He's 4-6, which again, win-loss records aren't everything these days, but to me, they still tell a story. Obviously, it tells a story of, hey, the Pirates are really bad compared to the Brewers, but if this is the Brewers matchup, if it's Brewers Pirates, we need Misiorowski versus Skenes, whatever, if it's a wild card series or whatever it is, the Brewers have the edge, even if maybe Skenes is the better pitcher. I'm excited to see what Jacob Misiorowski can do in his career. This is one of those players that gets called up that you instantly love to follow. There's some rookies that just become household names in my book, and he's instantly in my book. I love this guy. And I cannot wait to watch that game Wednesday. Believe me, I will be tuned in, glued to the couch, watching Misiorowski versus Skenes. That will be a fantastic game. So yeah, that is the Jacob Misiorowski stuff. Definitely check this guy out, man, because he could be elite. Moving on here now, let's get into the suspensions going back into last episode. I mentioned how Dennis Santana got into it with a fan a little bit, and how I expected about a 3-game suspension or so. He gets a 4-game suspension for his actions towards the fan in that game. And going into the Padres and D-backs kerfuffle in the last game of their 4-game series there, Robert Suarez got 3-game suspension for intentionally throwing at Ohtani in the 9th. And then both the managers, Dave Roberts and Mike Shield, both got a game for their actions and for starting the bench clearing incident, because it was the 2 managers that got together first to, which you don't see in today's game. So that was kind of cool to see. But those were all the suspensions that MLB handed out going back to the last episode. I think all of them were deserved. Suarez, it was a 3-0 count. You throw a fastball up and in against Ohtani. I think everyone's kind of got the game plan there. The managers, you get a game for starting it. That makes sense to me. And obviously you need your managers, so they're not going to go crazy on them. And then Santana, whatever the fans said, we still don't know. We probably never will. But at the same time, too, you're a professional. You're paid to keep those kinds of emotions and keep those kinds of balances in check. And, to go swinging, kind of a dumb thing to do. So, 4-game suspension seems reasonable. I think if it was, a player, it would have been 2 or 3. But because it's a relief pitcher, you get the extra game there. But is what it is. Those are the suspensions going back into last week. We now need to talk about L.A. and Ron Washington, because Ron Washington has taken a step back and takes a leave of absence due to health concerns and health reasons. Hopefully everything is okay. Ron Washington, one of those guys in baseball who, once you know the name, once you know the face, you just love the guy. He's, he loves to talk shop. He loves to just kind of be involved with plenty of the players. He was part of the Braves 2021 World Series team. First base coach, just a great guy overall. Took over as the Angels manager and has now had to take his leave of absence. So for going forward, Ray Montgomery will manage the Angels until further notice. So hopefully all the best for Ron Washington. Hopefully he can recover and be healthy, and hopefully we'll get a chance to manage the Angels later in the season as well. Like I said, a great guy. Love watching him. Love the way his mind works. You can just tell from the TV that he is just one of those guys. So all the best for Ron and moving forward here. Moving on now, baseball moves that have happened here. Some things to talk about. The Padres have DFA'd Jason Hayward. Interesting stuff there. The Mets signed Pablo Reyes to a minor league deal. The D-backs signed James McCann to a major league deal. Now that's interesting. Obviously, Gabriel Moreno, he's on the IL. The D-backs catcher duo right now is Jose Herrera and Aramis Garcia. And obviously, where the Diamondbacks' positions are they? And they're trying to win, and not sure if either of those catchers can hold it for now, depending on how serious Moreno's injuries are. Because obviously, Herrera, he's a solid catcher, but more of a backup guy. James McCann at least has major league experience, so they'll give him some time to work out some kinks with the pitchers, and then he will most likely be on the team at some point here going forward here. The Mets optioned Francisco Alvarez, which I thought was really interesting because Alvarez has had a really bad season. He's a .6 WAR. He has 29 hits, only 3 home runs, a .236 batting average, a .652 OPS, which, for some guys, those are kind of just below league kind of bad numbers. But, you look at his other seasons, every year his OPS is going down. 2023 made his first kind of full season there. He had a .721 OPS. Last year, dealt with some injuries, played 23 less games, had a .710 OPS, and then so far in 35 games this season has a .652 OPS. So again, dropping. The home run numbers, 25, 11, now 3. So they sent him down to AAA to kind of work out his swing. But then I looked at the Mets duo. I mean, right now, Luis Torrens is their starting catcher, who in 46 games has a home run, has the same amount of hits, 29 in less games than Alvarez, .227 batting average, and a .639 OPS, so already lower than Alvarez's. And just already the numbers are worse than Alvarez. And then you have Hayden Senger, who got called up, and has been kind of catching a little bit. In 14 games, he has 5 hits, 10 strikeouts, a .172 batting average, and a .407 OPS. So obviously, the idea is by Alvarez going down, he'll be able to fix his swing up a little bit, come back up quickly, because even though he's the one that gets sent down, he is still the better catcher compared to Luis Torrens, compared to Hayden Singer. So, I mean, take it that what you will, but for now, Alvarez will figure things out in the minors, and hopefully Torrens or Singer can step up in his absence while he gets right. So interesting stuff there, an interesting little mindset there, I guess, for the Mets there. And the last bit of news here is the Reds are going to make a call. Chase Burns is getting his call. He apparently will be making his MLB debut this week against the Yankees. I believe tomorrow on Tuesday is the plan there. Chase Burns was the number 2 pick in the 2024 draft last year, just behind, I believe, Travis Bazzana from the Guardians, who went number 1 overall. In his 1 year in the minors, he has a 1.77 ERA, 7-3 record in 13 starts. He's pitched 66 innings. He has 1 complete game shutout. Only has given up 5 home runs and has 89 strikeouts with 13 walks. So, I mean, if those are the kind of numbers that he can produce at the big league level, maybe this is the Reds' young answer for a pitcher. I mean, it seems like every NL Central team wants to have this starting pitcher, superstar kid. The Pirates have Skenes, the Brewers have Misiorowski. Now the Reds making another call for Chase Burns. This could be their guy, kind of match to match. And if he can produce at the big leagues level, he could be a staple for the Reds pitching staff. You think Hunter Green, you think Nick Lodolo, Graham Ashcraft, Andrew Abbott, some of the guys who've been pitching there. The Reds are like so close to becoming like a really strong team in the Central. I think they're just missing that star potential player. Like how the Giants went to go get Devers. I think the Reds are still missing that kind of like, oh, this is the guy that makes a difference. They had Joey Votto for the longest time, could never build a team around him. Now they have a team. It's kind of being built around Ellie, but Ellie really isn't consistent enough yet in his big league career to kind of be that like guy to build the team around. So they definitely need that star still. And but Chase Burns, hopefully his start against the Yankees goes well, and the Reds can continue to move up in the order here because they're fourth in their division, but they're 2 games above 500. Like, they could be making some noise. So interesting to see how that goes going forward there. But those are the moves that are coming up from this week here. And that will bring us to our hot and colds. So, getting things going here, Byron Buxton for the Twins, 9 for 23. He had a double. He had 6 home runs and 6 RBIs. He had all of his home runs this week, 6 of them, by the way, all solo shots. He had 7 runs, 4 walks, a 1.698 OPS. Of course, Kyle Raleigh is here, 10 for 24, 2 doubles, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs, 10 runs, 3 walks, a 1.606 OPS for him. Riley Green, 11 for 23, 3 doubles, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 7 runs, a 1.500 OPS. Eugenio Suarez, of course, that 300th career home run milestone, good for him. 11 for 25, 2 doubles, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 5 runs, a 1.464 OPS. And then Mauricio Dubon from the Astros, 9 for 24, 3 doubles, 4 home runs. He has 5 on the year. He had 4 of them this week. 5 RBIs, 7 runs, 3 walks, a 1.444 OPS. Those are your hot players from the week. Moving on now, O'Neal Cruz, 2 for 22 with 10 Ks. Michael Harris, the second, 2 for 24 with 4 Ks. Andres Jimenez, 1 for 21 with 4 Ks. Cedric Mullins, 1 for 21 with 8 Ks. And then Luis Robert Jr., 2 for 21 with 7 Ks. So some struggling hitters there from the week. That brings us now to our injury updates on the year here, on the week, I guess. Jorge Soler ends up on the 10-day IL with lower back inflammation. Chris Sale on the 15-day IL with a fractured rib cage. That was on the start where he almost had the complete game shutout. Had to make a fantastic play, but ended up fracturing his rib cage on the play. And then we have Adley Rutschman on the 10-day IL from Baltimore, a strained oblique. Ryan Yarbrough on the 15-day IL from the Yankees with a strained oblique. Jake Berger from Texas on the 10-day IL with a strained oblique. And then Hunter Dobbins, Red Sox, 15-day IL with a strained oblique. So the strained oblique gods and the Devils were out, taking some names. Rutschman, Yarbrough, Berger, Dobbins, all with strained obliques from the weekend here. So hopefully all those guys can feel better real soon and be back with the big league teams. Some outstanding performances from the weekend. Of course, Jacob Misiorowski, we mentioned, he took a perfect game into the 7th inning. He had 6 innings pitched, a hit, 2 earned runs, a walk, and 6 Ks. He had 6 perfect innings, started the 7th, walk, home run, his day was done. Jeffrey Springs, 7 1/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 6 Ks. Clark Schmidt, 7 innings pitched, no hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. Took Baltimore hitless into the 7th. They had 7 perfect innings, essentially 7 innings of no-hit baseball. And they lost that no-hitter in the 8th. Jose Quintana, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 4 walks, and a K. Jose Barrios, 7 2/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 5 Ks. Jose Soriano, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 10 Ks. And I just realized the last 3 guys on this list here were Jose, and Jose. Luis L. Ortiz, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 10 Ks. Andrew Abbott, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 3 Ks. Slade Ciccione, 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 3 Ks. That is such a great baseball name. Slade Ciccione. Seth Lugo, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 7 Ks. And then Jesus Luzardo, 6 2/3, 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 7 Ks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get through our standings check now and see who is at the top. The Yankees still lead the East 45-32. They're 2.5 up on the Rays, who are in second with 43-35, and the Jays just behind them, 41-36. They're 4 games back. Red Sox 6 games back, but above 500 in fourth, 40-39. In the Central, the Tigers 49-30. They are first by a while, 8.5 up on the Guardians, who are in second, who are 2 games above 500, 39-37, and the rest are not. The Royals are 38-40, and the Twins have fallen big time. They're 1-9 in their last 10. They have gone from second to fourth like that. In the AL West, the Astros still leading the way at 45-33, 5 games up on the Raleigh Mariners, 39-37 for them. Texas 2 games below 500 at 38-40, and the Angels half a game back of Texas, 37-40. Still ways to go for those teams. In the East, the Phillies taking 2 of 3 from the Mets. They have a 1-game lead over the Mets. The Phillies are 8-2 in their last 10, while the Mets are 2-8 in their last 10. The Braves, despite being 7-3 in their last 10, are still 35-41, a ways to go under 500. And then the Nats and Marlins there. In the NL Central, the Cubs still leading the way, but the Brewers starting to catch them a little bit. 3.5 game lead for the Cubs, 46-31. The Brewers, though, 7-3 in their last 10 on a 4-game winning streak, 43-35. They're hot on the pace there. Cardinals 42-36, Reds 40-30, all above 500 there for all 4 of those teams in the Central. And then in the NL West, the Dodgers lead the way, 48-31. They're 3.5 games up on the Giants, who are 44-34, and they're 5 games up on the Padres, who are 42-35. The D-backs 1 game above 500. 8 games back, still ways to go. But when you look at the NL as a whole, 5 teams are under 500. The Rockies, the Pirates, the Marlins, the Nationals, and the Braves, while the other 10 teams are all above 500. That's pretty impressive from the NL side of things. Below 500 teams in the AL, you have the A's, Angels, Texas, White Sox, Twins, Royals, and the Oilers at 7. So there's your difference there in some teams. And that is your standings check. So Yankees, Tigers, Astros, Phillies, Cubs, Dodgers still leading their respective divisions. That brings us to our upcoming series from the weekend here, from the week coming up. Who plays who? Well, the Rangers are in Baltimore to take on the Oilers. Rays at Royals. Blue Jays at Guardians. D-backs at White Sox. A's at Tigers. Mariners at Twins. Red Sox at Angels. Phillies at Astros. Braves at Mets. The Braves swept the Mets last weekend, so they come out back again. Pirates and Brewers. Remember, Skenes versus Jacob Misiorowski on Wednesday. That's must-watch baseball. The Cubs and Cardinals. It's the first time this rivalry meets this year. How about that? Yankees at Reds. Dodgers at Rockies. And Marlins at Giants, as well as the Nationals and the Padres. Those are your 15 series for the week coming up, and this has been episode, 229 now? We're crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody for tuning on into today's episode. I appreciate you all. Thank you everybody so much, and I will see you on Friday.